But I really wanted to share with you, here is what happens when surge is part of the equation. So this picture here is on Fort Myers Beach, and this is the main drag. I think it's called Estero Boulevard. And over there is what's called the Lanikai, and it's probably a 6-story hotel, and on the top they have a sun deck and everything where you can go, and we've been there many times, seen some of my friends perform. Sat on these little sliders they have that you can just sit and look over the Gulf of Mexico. Right on the other side of this is the Gulf of Mexico. And this is a live camera as of the recording. It was live recording as the surge was building. And this was just as the storm was kicking up on Wednesday, I think it was September 28th. This was probably around noon. I don't know if the time's on, I don't see it. And then the water started to come in. This is way more than whatever any storm's ever produced, by the way, in Fort Myers Beach in the last 20 years since I've been here. So the water level's probably around 3 feet above ground at this point, maybe 2 feet, some areas. And the same camera, this is around 5:30, where the highest surges were reported throughout the area. Same camera. Whew, just seeing that gives me chills. You can see the telephone pole, you can see the trees, the building's gone. The Lanikai did survive. The whole first floor, if you go online, you can see the pictures, was completely down to the supports, the concrete supports. Everything was stripped out just from the sheer force of wind and water flow. So let's go back through that one more time. Lanikai, this building, Estero Boulevard, there's restaurants and houses back in here. A little bit of a surge, poof, everything's kind of gone. Anything that was built, out of wood has been leveled and gone. The scariest part is that so many people have reported, some of them I know, others that I didn't know, saying, I feel like, and this is what one guy said, kind of sums it up, I feel like a complete idiot for putting myself, my family, my pets, and even my friends, because I'm a mentor to them, a role model to them, at risk, staying through something that we could have easily gone to the other coast of Florida. So just so you have a frame, Florida shape like this, Hurricane Ian came here, this is where I am. On the other coast is Miami, and all they really got was just winds and a little bit of rain bands. So 2-hour drive across Alligator Alley would have put them out of harm's way. And this is a big reason why some of the work that I do and what I believe in, Wisdom for Humanity with Sir Patrick, part of our mastery community, love working on this because it feels like some of these things should be common sense, right? But they're not common practice. Goes back to our high performance principles. That all said, I want to send so much love, care, and compassion for all the people that reached out to me and who've been the helpers, we'll talk about that in a minute, for helping so many beautiful people down here in Southwest Florida. There's people like us who are in a high rise and we were in winds but no surge, and we literally had power back within 5 days, which in Irma back in 2017 when that hurricane came through, took 3 weeks to get power back. So teams of people, teams of emergency response crews came in. This is the team of emergency response utility trucks from all over the eastern part of the U.S. There's like 300 trucks. As soon as they opened this bridge to Sanibel Island, if you're familiar with the way it lays out, the Sanibel Island causeway or bridge got wiped out in parts, and they were able to rebuild that within weeks, which they said typically it's within years, new world versus old world. As soon as they got that rebuilt, at least temporarily, they got the utility trucks out there to start rebuilding, literally rebuilding, not restoring, but rebuilding the infrastructure. So you see all the helpers, all the people out there, and really rocking it out. And I just want to make sure that we see the yin and the yang of this. There are people who decided, I'm going to sit this one out. I've been through many before. But none of the hurricanes before had surge. And that's one of the heaviest killers in a hurricane of this magnitude, is the surge, and you can see why. And then we have the helpers, the people that came down. Tens of thousands, I guess, utility trucks came down and were parked strategically, waiting for the storm to move through, and then moved in. And they had such a plan and a strategy and a vision for how they were just going to work from, basically I-75 is here, and then all the damage got progressively worse as you went out to the Gulf. So there's I-75, Gulf of Mexico. Through this part, they didn't get surge. It's basically a few miles. It was pretty much a restoration job. As they got closer and closer, the utility truck linemen were reporting, it wasn't so much restoration as it was rebuild. And they just stepped into it. Many times they put themselves at risk. Some people had generators. And when you put a generator into your house circuitry, and if you don't shut off the main breaker, it feeds back through the power lines. And when the linemen pick it up, apparently, I don't know this to be exactly true. I know that it can happen. A few linemen lost their lives because they hit hot wires when they were trying to reconnect things, just because people didn't shut off generators, the power back to the main power input, if that makes sense. So I just want to celebrate the lives of the people that are helping us, celebrate the lives of the people that maybe didn't make it, and celebrate the helpers that are out there really making sure that we're taken care of, and how the world just stepped into care, compassion, and help in a major way. And that's the sort of yang part of this. The yin is, even in the closest of my circles, friends are reporting and reaching out, and I'm coaching them through and talking through situations where, hey, you know what, I said something that I shouldn't have, or I didn't support my friend in the way that I wanted to, or I didn't support a family member in that way, and now they won't talk to me.